Hello and welcome to a short little update and featurette on the Rubicon UC3. Random, right? It's been out for almost a year now. It's not in any conversations. I don't see a whole lot of them around. It's just kind of fallen into the rotation like any other regular ball does. I'm running my original review right now while we talk a little. Holy awful mechanics, Batman. But then I've got some new and very interesting ball reaction video to talk about. I was really impressed when this ball came out, kind of a urethane but not quite urethane reaction out of the turethane cover and the mild asymmetric rondure core, and what we're seeing on the screen is a fairly unique look. It acts like a strong and smooth reactive ball. I think I mentioned then that it had Omega Crux vibes. It gets traction and an average amount of shape, but after it starts hooking, it keeps gradually climbing. It starts hooking and stabilizing a little earlier than typical reactive stuff, but a little later than urethane. It's sharper than urethane, but smoother than reactive. It's like a perfect blend of the two. That said, every time I tried to use it, it wasn't the ball. When I needed urethane, it was too strong and too responsive, and when I needed reactive, it was too early and slow. This really threw me because every single time I took it out of the bag, I'm like, how can the general reaction of this ball look so good yet be absolutely useless? When I'm just bowling like for this video, I can play anywhere with it. The reaction looks great, but the situation for this ball never seemed to be there, or it wasn't ever better than another ball. It's a little too diggy for a house shot. This looks good, but I've got better and simpler reactions that can help me shut my angles down more. And when I need urethane, I want something to dig in earlier and blend down lane more. I mentioned this multiple times in other videos and on streams when people asked me about it, but I said it just sits in a bag in the basement because I have no idea where it fits or what to do with it. Now let's roll the new stuff. I had a conversation with Casey Murphy a few weeks ago, a very good bowler from near Springfield, Missouri. He has his own channel as well if you want to check that out. And I'm not sure how it came up, but he mentioned talking to Austin Bolds, who you might also know from the Bowling Fix channel, about shining the UC3 up and how that turned it into a different ball. The conversation happened at the perfect time because before the league season started, I spent a couple weeks trying to sort out my arsenal because I've got all kinds of different things laying around, and my league season last year was a mess, mostly because my bag was a revolving door. I thought, you know what, I've got to move on here. I've got to just find reactions that work, let some stuff go whether it looks good or not. I've just got to find the best stuff for me and move forward because my scores suffered last year. UC3 was on the list to get a final look anyway, so I thought, hey, why not? Now what I did here was just put a light coat of shine over top of the box surface. I didn't mirror shine it, I didn't full resurface it, I just knocked the dust off. Or like people say, they don't necessarily sand shiny balls, they just knock the polish off. I just knocked the surface off and it's magic. I've used it for 90% of my bowling the last solid month. It's seen all 5 league sets so far this year. I just can't put it down. It seems like such a simple thing or something that's kind of laughable, like you didn't think to play with the surface at all? But sometimes even I get in my head about stuff like this. It's urethane, or mostly urethane, and it looked good as it was to begin with, that's part of it, but shiny urethane is never the look, especially on the left side. My fast pitch shined up and turned into a marble. I've got to keep surface on my pitch black or it does nothing. The fever pitch purple, absolutely useless shiny, and having experience with the hot cell before, an even earlier roll and reaction than those other balls, but without the surface to get dig and produce ball motion, sounded absolutely wretched. The UC3 though acts enough like smooth or slow reactive that theoretically it made sense. Now, I've used it quite a bit, of course, since the original coat of polish. I've posted a couple shorts showing it off, and it has tamed down some, so it's about time to freshen the surface up, but still, this is like Lefty heaven. I just have to walk it down the side and let it work. I mean, there's no frills. I know it's not exactly jumping off the screen at you, but I've got misroom both ways. It rolls and revs strong, it's continuous, it hits, and the polish is what ended up balancing the ball. With surface, it was just too much too early, which put me into some angle issues. The dig made me move inside, but then the shape said, nah, this is too much angle, we have to go back, and it just wasn't ever the ball for longer than a game. Now on the left side, if you're starting at third arrow, you have nowhere to move to with the ball that you're using. That means it's already too early and strong for you to straighten up with, and moving inside gets really steep really fast for a lefty, in addition to starting to cross righty heads. Now, I've mentioned it a couple times now, and I've talked to other people about getting their UC3s back out and giving them a shot, and the response has been 100% favorable. I've had a lot of people leave comments and say, wow, this worked. I didn't know what to do with mine either, and this was it. Shine made it all work and click. The shine allowed me to move into a straighter zone where I could get the ball down the lane. It's still urethane-esque, so it's still somewhat smooth, but it rolls strong, so it's just getting on top of it and throwing darts. It's still a strong enough ball that the shine didn't make it inconsistent or sensitive. That's what I was worried was going to happen. But the core, I think, makes all the difference in the world here, too. Urethane doesn't cause carry down. Low flare does, because if a ball doesn't flare, it rolls on the same oil ring all the way down the lane, so it picks it up in the front and then dumps it all in the back end. The UC3 acts like any other reactive ball in that sense because it flares a bunch, so it's not rolling over those same oil lines or rings all the way down the lane. So if the part of the ball that's touching the lane doesn't have any oil on it, it can't deposit that oil back onto the lane. I'm definitely going to be stocking up on these. If you have one, might try giving it a shot. And if you haven't pulled the trigger on one yet, I highly recommend it. In addition, and this is, to myself too, sometimes you have to try things even if they don't make sense. It's all experience and it's all good information. Big shout out and thanks to my Patreon members and great Discord community. Thank you for watching, and may the strikes be with you.